Evan the Deer is here.
I think I saw Dale Jr. over there too.
I did see a big head Dale Jr. You don't do this in any other sport at this level. This does not happen.
No.
You see a Formula One podium, they're like 30 feet in the air above the crowd.
Have you seen Lewis Hamilton holding a deer, giving deer some alcohol? I don't think so.
We'll give you all the coverage you can in our post-race show, but you got to come to these races. Hey, next week we're going to Southwick. They get pretty rowdy there too, up in New England. Nothing's quite like RedBud, but any of these races, the podium, you get up close. Welcome everybody, even if you're not here at RedBud, to the SMX Insider post-race show. Even big head Daniel Blair is here. Jason Wygant, James Stewart here in the booth. Jason Thomas reporting for the racetrack. It's going to be a really fun one after a good day of racing.
Everybody's here. Everybody's here. I've seen some beer bongs and the deer. Champagne. The deer.
All over the place, yeah.
Deer's a little tipsy now.
Jet's getting some podium gods ready. Stay with this. This is awesome. Oh, there it is. We got the trophies now.
Got me
It's the Michigan State and FMF as their title sponsor. Got the muffler on there. And the red plate. Once again, points leader, Jet Lawrence.
Too much to carry right there.
Yeah. We saw today, though, we'll have highlights in this show, how quickly things can change. His brother Hunter went down in the 250 class, still the points leader, but not nearly the lead he had coming in. We need to have a third set of motos.
Yeah, no.
These fans aren't going anywhere.
They're only going to get better and better as the day goes on.
So. And you've got Dylan Ferrandis and Chase Sexton flanking on the podium. Lawrence just said something to pump up the crowd. I'm going to assume it was a RedBud.
Yeah, you can say hi, and they're hype right now. Hi, RedBud. So, yeah, this place is special. This place is one of a kind.
I want to thank Peacock and SuperMotocross Video Pass for allowing us to stay in the air live now for a post-race show, which you never had before. The drone allows us to see the podium as we've never seen it before. This is something we have seen before. These crazy fans here at RedBud, but you're getting to witness it at home in a way you haven't in the past.
This is why you do all that hard work at home to build a. This is why this race is so special to win. Especially on hot summer days at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, at home, yeah, you don't have the fans when you're doing it at home.
Yeah, you don't do it.
This is the glory.
Be able to come here at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a 4th of July weekend, you get this, you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, be careful, everybody.
I see a football player down there with 2 mugs on the side of his thing.
Well, that helped when he took the champagne from Jet. At least he had the face shield on there. All right, riders are going back to the pits. There's Lawrence and Ferrandis. All right, this is a spectacular show. As good as the racing is, the podium might be just as good, but the racing wasn't too bad either. So let's show you with our 250 highlights from RedBud. Go all the way back to the beginning of the day 4 hours ago. Hunter Lawrence coming in undefeated overall this year and pulling away in the series standings. One thing didn't change, the crowd was pumped up at the beginning of the day as well. Is that Lawrence trying to pick his gate?
Yeah, Hunter Lawrence been on a roll the last couple weeks. He said he had to focus on qualifying so he can get a better gate position, so he can get a better start for the first moto, and he executed that to the fullest. Was dominant. One of the best performances I've seen for him all year long. You know, Hayden Deegan was right there. He just ran away from him. There's nothing else to say about that. He was on fire since first practice, the green flag, and he was on fire since that gate drop.
Couple riders down. Jalik Swoll crashes. This is a turn 3, and then his bike gets run over, and he did not complete this race. The bike was damaged. He did come back and actually rode well in Moto 2. He was okay. Then this, Ryder D. Francesco, Tom Viel.
Yeah, they come together. Ryder D went on the inside, trying to made a mistake and then tried to block, and Tom Viel, they come together and then they go down. And then this is another incident where Joe Shimoda goes off the track, ends up getting a 1-position penalty for not allowing Cooper to get back to, excuse me.
Yep, to get around him. That was a penalty there. Cooper would have a penalty of his own later. We'll show you that. battle is on. You got Seth Hamaker in the 35 back in action after an injury, first time this year. Nice pass on the outside by the always hard-charging RJ Hampshire.
Yeah, at this point, Seth Hamaker was riding really good. This was for a third position in the race. And then right here, this is another one, Justin Cooper, as we saw Hunter Lawrence last weekend. This is a no-no. You do not jump on the red cross flag. There's a rider, which you can barely see the top of his head over there. So he jumps, gets 7 points, or 5 points, excuse me.
Yeah.
But everybody was chasing this guy right here.
Yep, as you said, he pulls away from Deegan and everyone else, and finally gets a first Moto win. So the only small, tiny little flaw in the game for Hunter, he solved it by winning Moto 1, but then Moto 2, disaster.
Wow, big disaster, scary moment for Hunter. A lot of these guys, this corner is notorious. When you go back to this gate, these guys are going wide open, and you can see Hunter got very lucky that it's not worse than what it was, but you got guys flipping, and all of that was caused because he didn't get the best jump, and those guys closed them off. And when you get sandwiched, it's not the burrito that you want. You don't want to be in the middle of that, but we were kind of wondering as he was holding his wrist, looked like his arm, he was in some pain. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Hunter, but the good news is once he went in and visited the doctors there with the Alpine Stars medic team, it turned out that it wasn't that bad, and the hope is that he can return for our next race at Southwick. Up front in this moto, Deegan actually got the whole shot, but Levi Kitchen gets around him, and he was on fire.
Yeah, Hayden Deegan was able to the whole shot, and looked like he was going to be able to just hold on to this with Hunter Lawrence going out, but Levi's had something else to say. They went back and forth the first couple of laps, and then as we're watching right here, Hamaker taking out the KTM sign for us after the first moto top 5, and then coming back going down. But yeah, Levi was on another level, not like he was when he won that Thunder Valley last year. Yep. On another level. But Hayden Deegan did what he needed to do. He knew Hunter Lawrence was out, and this rookie was on verge to be able to get his first overall victory of his career.
He was sitting 2-2, and eventually Tom Vial would get to him, but that wouldn't even matter. Even a 2-3 would get it done. So here you go, Moto win coming for Kitchen, but he was 7th in the first Moto, so he's going to end up 2nd overall. First Moto win of the year for Kitchen there.
I don't even think he knew he hit the checkered flag.
So looking back for that. But here is Deegan, knows he has the overall in his hands, and he's going to be, as he pointed out at the podium, the first American to win a race this year because the Australian Lawrence brothers had swept every race until now. The 17-year-old rookie out of Temecula, California, second-generation rider, gets it done. There's the hug from Dad Brian Deegan. There's Mom Marissa, Sister Haley. Hudson, his brother's got to be around somewhere.
Yeah, family event. Congratulations. I got to say, his dad, for the first victory, was a little bit more, I guess, authentic for what it was by Ghost riding the whip. But congratulations, Hayden. This is the first of many to come.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So there is how the overall breaks down. He scores 42 championship points with the 2-3 scores. That's the most of anyone today. Kitchen and Cooper make it a Yamaha sweep on the podium. And Vial, oh, if not for that crash early in Moto 1, he could have been in contention to win today. Instead, he goes 9-2 for 4th. RJ Hampshire 5th. Boland, Shimoda, Hamaker, Lawrence ends up 9th overall with 1 and 40th, last place in the second Moto with the crash. And Daxton Bennett, pro debut, 10-9 for 10th. That's all you could ask for. Now I'm going to show you the points. 11-point lead for Lawrence because Deegan got 3rd in Moto 2 and Lawrence didn't score any. So we got a championship race in our hands again. Hampshire, Shimoda, Kitchen, Cooper, these guys got to say, this is my chance. I got to hammer down. I got to make things happen. We don't know exactly Hunter's situation going forward, but we're going to try to find out more. Jason Thomas has headed over to the Honda HRC camp. So those are point standings. Let's learn what happened at Honda with JT.
That's right, I am at Honda HRC, and yes, scary scene. I think there are a lot of people holding their breath on this team, friends and family as well, but it does feel a little bit more optimistic. They're hoping he can be back for Southwick, and I think anything at this point, just a sigh of relief. And if you're looking for a silver lining, he does have an 11-point lead. So for a rider who's been so dominant through every race so far this year, to have this injury that he's going to have to fight through, hopefully it's nothing serious, he's going to go into the next round still with your championship points lead.
Thanks, JT. Yeah, so the math is on his side, but more importantly, the health might be as well. Now, in the combined standings, Supercross and Motocross together, which seeds us into our postseason for the first time ever this year, still has a 67-point gap over Deegan. But this shows you how good Deegan has been as a rookie. He was 2nd in Supercross points as well.
Yeah, Deegan's riding great. You know, he's the biggest threat to Hunter Lawrence. He's only 11 points back. And yeah, I think it's if Hunter comes back next week, then the Joe Shimodas, they missed a big opportunity at second moto. Hayden was able to capitalize on it, but yeah, he's in second. Levi Kitchens, sneaky up there, top 4, but yeah, we'll see next weekend with Hunter Lawrence.
Set those points for playoffs. So any of these riders that are in, they have a shot to win it. This is the Ritchie family. It's Amy on the left and her brother Tim on the right. Every week, the promoter gets a signed #1 plate from the winners. They're the promoters, the owners of the track here at RedBud. Second generation there. Their dad and mom hey, good job, Tim Ritchie. Getting the RedBud chat going. Let's learn more about the iconic history of this track and this racetrack and the historic fans that come along with it at RedBud.
You go through the little village of Buchanan down there and come up here to this facility, and at the time it wasn't very well developed. It was Gene and his wife in a red barn next to the main road, and chaos because so many people knew about the place and wanted to ride here.
Big Gene, Tim and Amy's father, standing on the yellow bus that they used to have as a sign-up bus down there. And I was a little kid, and we'd always have the riders meeting down there. And I'm, looking up at Mean Gene on that bus. That he was hard-nosed.
This was his dream. He had the backbone to pick a family up of 5 people and move up here and start a racetrack 50 years ago. We're gonna make a living doing that, and that's how I'm gonna feed the family, which takes a lot to do something like that.
Before it was our responsibility, we were always trying to take care of everything for Mom and Dad, so it just became into taking care of it for ourselves. So yeah, I feel pretty proud to get them this far.
And for Tim and Amy to take it over and be successful as brother and sister and build it to where it's at now, unbelievable.
Well, when you think about RedBud, you think about the national race, obviously, on the 4th of July weekend. And the fact now that it's held a couple of Motocross of Nations, that also adds to its prestige. So the RedBud is certainly an iconic track in America, one of the top few, no question, on the Mount Rushmore of tracks in the United States.
I mean, I've been coming here for 35 years now, so it's obviously transformed into what it is today. It's a destination motocross venue. You name it, they've been here. I think it's every professional racer's favorite track on the circuit, and it bodes well to the Ritchie's determination and effort towards motocross.
It's been amazing just seeing the development and all the care and what they've put back into it, and continues to grow, and it builds every year, and I think that's the biggest thing. It's just everyone has a great time, and that's what the big draw is having a great time with all your friends.
And fans finally headed back, not leaving the track though. I bet you they're headed to the campground. There will be amateur racing tomorrow. Here's your 100% upcoming schedule. We go to Southwick next week. We'll have 2 motos to watch on NBC as well. Spring Creek, that is Millville, Minnesota. Then we'll go to Washougal in Washington, Unadilla in New York, Budds Creek in Maryland, and Ironman Raceway in Indiana. A lot of the fans from RedBud, I bet you'll be down there at Ironman. Okay, so that's our upcoming schedule. Let's go to our 450 highlights in our post-race show. RedBud round 5, Hillsides, as always, live with fans for July 4th weekend celebration of motocross, and a little extra treat to get them fired up. You had Jason Anderson and Chase Sexton returning to action.
Yeah, Jason Anderson back. Good to see him back. And Chase Sexton, obviously one of the title hopes coming in here to give his teammate Jet Lawrence, who's going to be Chase Sexton and Jet Lawrence. So to be able to get here and see this battle hopefully materialize. But Jet Lawrence had something else to say about that. The kid was on fire since the first practice, been 2 seconds faster, was able to get a whole shot in his first moto, executes this, and Chase Sexton struggled in the beginning part of his moto compared to what Jet was, and I think that was just from not racing, but Jet was really focused and was able to build that gap, and that was it, all they saw of him.
Yeah, he checked out. Ty Masterpool, the privateer, riding great all season long. Battle is on with track tree guys. Here comes Sexton making a move on Adam Cianciarulo.
Yeah, Chase was getting, and he tries to get up next to Adam. Since they play Xbox together, they're friends. He didn't want to close that off, but Chase was able to get around him, and then he was able to make his way around Dylan as well. And then he set his sights on Ty Masterpool. Nice pass down the inside, kind of caught Ty up by surprise. And that was kind of it for Chase. Was able to ride and just kind of stayed there behind second, about 10 seconds back from Jet Lawrence at that point.
Master pull under fire. Ferrandis gets him, and then Cianciarulo does as well, but it doesn't last.
Yeah, Adam goes up the inside of Ty and tries to make it. He was over this privateer giving him the business all day. But yeah, Adam tries to get in there, loses the front end, and then Ty has nowhere to go and goes down. As you can see, Adam is explaining the crash to his mechanic. But overall, he was okay. He was able to show up for the second moto. But again, they were all chasing like they have all year. We might as well put that on repeat, Jay.
Yeah.
Chasing this Lawrence kid, Jet Lawrence.
And there it is, 9-0 in motos, and just maintained that lead once he got it after checking out early. So we go to 450 moto number 2, same start.
Same start, great execution, especially what happened when we saw with his brother in the 250 clash. You had to think that some of that nerve was in there, but younger brother, they just don't know any better. He was like, I'll just have to step up, and he did. Executed that start. Chase Sexton got a little bit better position off the gate, but overall, this kid was able to get out front and made everybody else have to chase him. And as we'll see in this, there were some mistakes being made.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that one at first. Here's Sexton trying to make the move on Ferrandis. You mentioned mistakes being made, and Sexton will make one of his own here.
Yeah, they put a little bit of water down, so the track was a little bit slipperier. Maybe that's why they were able to close on Jet. Jet did say he kind of got caught off surprise about Dylan being so close. But yeah, Chase was a little bit more aggressive than he was. He had to fight back. Makes a grown man pass on Aaron. I don't think Aaron was expecting that. He comes in there, nice pass by Chase, and he was moving forward and then set his sights on Dylan Ferrandis again, which was about 5 seconds up the track.
Yep, so Sexton makes the move on Plessinger. He'd pressure Ferrandis all the way to the end. No one was able to put consistent pressure on Lawrence. Ferrandis made a couple pushes, but Lawrence wins RedBud, 1-1, 10-0, new record for a rider starting in a new class of this series, and then huge response from the crowd, as always, at RedBud.
I don't know what that is, but that's something that's especially RedBud right there, what he's got in his hand. But Jet Lawrence, 10-0, got it again.
Yep, Ferrandis and Sexton, as we mentioned, battled to the end, and that affected the overall. Ferrandis, they tied on points for the day. The better second moto is a tiebreaker, so Ferrandis takes second, Sexton third. Plessinger, Anderson, it's a nice return, finished in top 5. Yep. Marchbank sixth, Noren, Nicoletti, Butrone, Cianciarulo. That rounds out the top 10. So let me give you the season point standings. As you would imagine, Jet Lawrence has a big points lead. The big change is that Cooper Webb did not compete today, so he goes from 3rd at points back to 5th. Plessinger and Cianciarulo move up, and Sexton somehow is 10th at points, only racing 2 times this year.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. Now 10th in points, but those 2 times he raced, he's been in 2nd, so he's gaining max points considering number 18's up there winning everything.
That's right. Let's send it down to Jason Thomas.
Well, I'm at Monster Star Yamaha, the home of Dylan Ferrandis, and that was a breakout performance from him. And he's been working on the motorcycle. That was really the story he's been telling us week after week. And you saw the progress that they made after a weekend off. And you could see the optimism in him on the podium. He really was able to challenge Jet Lawrence there, and I think he's making baby steps towards trying to fight for that win. So no, he's not quite there yet. No, he's not satisfied, but he is getting closer.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. We had a slight sighting of the Dylan danger zone where he had Jet Lawrence in his sights. Let's talk SuperMotocross World Championship. This is combining these Supercross and Motocross points together. Sexton missed some races. Webb moved to the top of the chart. Sexton returns. Webb not here. Sexton back to the top of the charts. And the reason this is important is you start with a head start on points when the 3-race playoff begins, depending on how well you do here. So this is to Sexton's advantage. He can hold this to the end of the year. Jet Lawrence is 9th in combined 450 points, even without racing Supercross, and you know it's probably going to move up even further than that. So those are your points. Let's look to our next race, which is at Southwick, maybe the most unique track and a great atmosphere in its own right. Talk about racing in the sand up there in New England.
It's difficult. It is difficult. And if I'm Jason Anderson, if I'm struggling here, I'm not looking forward to Southwick. But it's another weekend. He was able to get 2 motos. But, you know, JT was talking over about Yamaha and Dylan Ferrandis. I do feel like with this track, the way Dylan has his bike set up, it kind of favored him having a little bit lower in the rear end. As far as going to Southwick, it's going to favor him just as well. So I think if Dylan feels pretty comfortable on this bike, the way I see it and set up, Southwick is probably going to be the best track for that bike, because normally when you go there, you do lower the rear end, you raise the front end because it's a fast, high-speed, fast sand track, and you want a long motorcycle, which is exactly what Dylan has. So I expect him to be better as far as a bike situation next week. And if he is, then maybe he's a little bit closer to Jet than he was today.
Might be danger zone time. We'll see.
Still in danger.
Yep. Quietly, Ferrandis is getting better each week. As we mentioned this SuperMotocross World Championship, I just found this out, that we're going to have trackside camping available at the first 2 playoff rounds, and you can pick different kinds of camping. You can have premier, trackside camping, or non-trackside. You choose. Go to supermotocross.com for more information and purchase your camping packages today. Supermotocross.com. Tickets, camping, schedule, all the information you need right there. Upcoming schedule, we're going to Southwick next weekend. We'll, of course, have Race Day Live presented by motosport.com. That is our qualifying coverage at 10 a.m. Eastern. You can watch that at Peacock or outside the U.S. on the SuperMotocross Video Pass. But it's going to be cool to get on NBC for the first time this year because that's a big 2-hour show. We're going to bring RC in, but we're going to keep you. So we're going to get RC and JS to tell some Southwick stories.
We got a lot of them, and unfortunately, I'm going to ask him some questions, some real questions, what he was doing in front of me a few times.
Love
but
it.
yeah, looking forward to it. Can't wait to see you guys next week. Live on NBC, 2 hours. It's going to be good.
It is going to be good. And then we'll have the second motos, Peacock and SuperMotocross Video Pass. You can listen to James on his Bubba's World podcast or Title 24 podcast. We'll have Carmichael and Ryan Villapoto breaking it down. That's it from RedBud. Huge congrats to the Deegan family. Hayden taking his first pro win. And the Lawrence show rolls on, at least in the 450 division, with Jet on top. That's it from RedBud. For Jason Thomas and James Stewart, I'm Jason Wygant. So long. Congrats, Jet Lawrence.
One of the most prestigious things in all